Use the crystal filters to change the Zoombinis' reflection. It will give them crystal slamming protection. Looking back, Saetwo was never able to remember a more horrible experience in her life than the endless days the group spent traveling through the mountains of despair. Every day was the same as the one before, trudging through cramped, barely illuminated rock tunnels leading on, subsisting on whatever food they had been able to bring from Shade Tree, and never being able to see the sky. Aside from a few spiders and rats, they were the only living things. They had absolutely no way of telling day from night, as they were always exhausted, but were only allowed a few hours of sleep at a time. No matter how far or how long they traveled, though, there was never any sign of the fleens or of Ulubu. Neither did they seem to be drawing close to any sort of exit. As the days wore on, Saetwo lost more and more of what hope she had left. She decided the Mountains of Despair were named very aptly.
We don't even know where we are. We could be walking around in circles for all we know, and we're almost out of food.
We're going to die in here, aren't we?
Guys, come on. We can't give up now. I know it seems hard now, but if we just keep going... He trailed off. Not even he believed what he was saying. Saetwo was gazing up at the ceiling of the tunnel, only a few feet above their heads, and trying to hold in her frustrated tears. The group couldn't keep going on like this, and who knew what had happened to Ulubu in this amount of time? I don't think we've been down this way yet. Maybe we should... Ow! What's this?
After all this time, you're still tripping.
I tripped over something.
I think they're tracks. Mine tracks.
People used to mine things in here?
Guys, don't you realize what this means? We can follow the tracks out of this awful place. They have to lead out of the mountains.
Hey, you're right.
But even if we do get out, it won't help us find Ulubu.
Sure it will. The fleens can't last in here any longer than we can. They must have left by now. We'll just follow them.
Well, that's great. So all we have to do is walk along the tracks until we get out of here?
It's gonna be even easier than that. Take a look at these boards. Oh, they even got wheels.
Whee!
This is awesome!
I'm gonna die!
After riding for nearly an hour, they finally began to lose momentum and the entire line of boards slowed to a stop just as they passed through a small hole in the stone wall. Saetwo at the front of the line was the first to see the room they had all just entered. Ugh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Are you kidding? That was a blast!
Hey! Saetwo! What's up there?
Oh my.
In the middle of the room was a large green multifaceted crystal hanging by a hook. On either side of it were two long wooden platforms. The platform nearest the Zoombinis had a smaller rectangular crystal on one end right in front of where Saetwo was standing. The platform on the far end led back to another circular platform. Standing on it at a 90-degree angle to each other were two more rectangular crystals, which, to Saetwo's astonishment, each bore the picture of the Zoombini. Saetwo found herself staring across the room at the Zoombini's image drawn into the crystal. It didn't look like anyone she had ever met, but that didn't make it any less unnerving. It looked exactly like a real Zoombini. Just gazing into its lifeless eyes was one of the scariest things she had done thus far. Finally tearing her gaze away, she saw that the mine tracks led to a short but steep drop right in front of her, led under the platform for a few feet, then dropped off directly underneath the large crystal. Where the tracks broke off, there wasn't ground, but a pitch black hole. Beyond that, they continued on under the far platform, looped around, and led to a safe-looking spot away from the crystal, where they vanished through another doorway, presumably continuing on. Saetwo could only imagine what they would have to do here.
How do we get past that big crystal?
I don't know.
Saetwo then noticed something strange. The wall behind the crystal was a large rock shelf, and sitting on it were several additional rectangular crystals. Saetwo flew up to them and gasped in shock. Each of them had one or two Zoombini features on it: a propeller, a green nose, and other things. What was truly amazing, though, was that not all of the pictures stayed the same. Some of them flickered back and forth between all the different versions of that feature.
They're us. Or parts of us.
How did all this get here? Who's seen us before? Has this all been waiting for us?
Saetwo couldn't even begin to wonder about that. As she continued to look around the room, she noticed a lever sitting on a rock slab below where they were standing.
What does this lever do? Weird. That big crystal is like some kind of mirror. I guess if somebody stood right in front of me, their image will be projected too.
So, how
look
does
at all
that
those
help
crystals
us?
that just have body parts on them. I wonder if we have to use those so both the images are the same?
You mean we put them down on the platforms, and when the light shines through them, they change our reflections? Kinda like filters? I guess that might work. Okay. Got all the crystals I need. But this one I'm carrying is a bit of a problem. It's cycling through the 5 hairstyles we have.
But what does this mean? You have to time it exactly right?
I guess we'll find out. But that's not right. My reflection has a flat top haircut. That Zoombini on the other side has messy hair. This doesn't match. Okay, let's try putting that crystal on the other side. Okay, now that side has a ponytail like I do. Why does it change depending on where I put it?
Saetwo, stop talking to yourself and pull the stupid lever.
Oh, right. Holy cow! What just happened?
I was not prepared for that.
Neither was I.
Wait a minute. Does this mean all the crystal filters we put down, they have to make 2 pairs of Zoombinis look the same?
That means we'll really have to plan ahead.
Yeah, we got lucky this time. But I guess now we know we have to look at both pictures when we put those filters down. What just happened?
The 2 crystal Zoombinis, they just changed. It was almost like magic.
The crystal Zoombinis have different features now. How did that happen?
I'm hating this place more and more.
I guess every time we reset the lever, the pictures change, and the whole thing starts over again.
Everyone was silent, taking in what this meant. Not only would they have to figure out the flashing crystal pictures and place the filters so that they may not one, but two pairs of Zoombinis appear identical, they'd have to do it 7 times in a row.
Saetwo, you're the only one who can get over those crystals, so you'll have to place them all. But we'll all help you, don't worry.
Okay, but if we make a mistake, someone would be sent plummeting down the mine shaft underneath the crystal, most likely never to be seen again. I can't let that happen.
And so she began. With Conneda watching and giving suggestions, she placed a filter with a picture of a spring and a ponytail on his side, then covered up the ponytail by putting a picture of a flat top and a purple nose in front of it. On the other Zoombinis platform, she put a picture of a spring and sunglasses, and in front of that, a purple nose. Thankfully, she didn't have to deal with any changing pictures this time around.
Now is that gonna work out for both of us? Me and the Zoombini behind me?
Yep, they both have flat tops and you both have sunglasses, so you should be fine.
Whoa!
This shouldn't be so hard. Oh no. Now the only way to make the 2 images identical would be to use a filter with a changing hairstyle. Okay, that filter with the changing hairstyle became a ponytail.
But a ponytail won't work for both of us. The second mirror Zoombini has messy hair, not a ponytail. The second time through, they won't be identical.
I know. Let me think. Oh no!
Ah!
Weiswyo. What? The crystals both show messy hair. How?
But how did that happen? 1 minute that hair thing was a ponytail and then it changed.
I know how. These changing hairstyles. What they settle as depends on what kind of hairstyle is right behind them. If there's those little hairs behind them, it'll turn into messy hair, but if there's messy hair behind them, it'll turn into a ponytail.
Oh, of course.
And the same must go for all the changing features. It all depends on what kind of future we have or what the other picture has.
With renewed confidence, Saetwo reset the lever and started the next round. Going by what she had learned, and with the others' help, she was able to place the filters to make the Zoombinis identical while figuring out what the changing images would turn out to be. Thankfully, fate seemed to be working out for them. If changing nose color would turn blue, then purple, the first crystal Zoombini would have a blue nose and the second would have a purple one. Everything was meant to match up. They just had to find a way.
Saetwo, we figured out that my kind of hair turns those changing hairs into a flat top. But that guy in front of me has 3 little hairs, and 3 little hairs turn it into messy hair. How are we gonna match up?
Good question. I can't think of a way.
Well, there's a picture of a flat top up there, and flat tops turn the changing pictures to 3 hairs. Why not put that one in front of Tyscene and put the changing one in front of that?
Good idea!
And so it went on. The long minutes ticked by as, 2 by 2, the group traveled past the crystal to the ground below. Every round of placing the filters took a lot of planning, and Saetwo thought it must have been nearly an hour since they had started. The whole thing was beginning to wear down her nerves. Finally, there were only 2 Zoombinis left, and Ahjay was the last one.
My back is hurting from carrying the filters around, and I can't see very well. All I want now is to finish this thing. Okay, that should do it. Woo! Oh no, I can't believe I didn't see this. I had completely forgotten that one of the filters on Echae's side had changing eyes. The first Zoombini's eyes are right for a match, but Echae's is not. The image on his side had sunglasses, the other had droopy eyes. Ahjay! No!
Say, you just saved my life.
Well, of course I did. That was my fault, Ahjay. If I'd just been more careful, I would have noticed.
Say, you have to stop blaming yourself for these things. You just put your own life in danger for me. You can't always...
Ahjay, listen. I did have to do it. Twice now we've been separated from each other because of a mistake I made. I'm never going to let that happen again.
Twice?
The pizza trolls and Shade Tree.
Oh.
Ahjay, I'm so sorry. I was such a jerk to you. I don't even know what came over me. I don't deserve to be your friend.
Say, it's all right. It's not a big deal.
It is to me. I know it's not an excuse. I know why I said all of those things. I was jealous because I care about you so much.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Let's not ever fight again.
Ahjay, she deserves you. Treat her with love and kindness.
Say? My board. Well, you saw. I kinda lost it. Do you think I could ride on yours?
Of course you can, stupid.
Well, what a relief that's over with.
Yeah. But isn't anyone bothered by the fact that there were Zoombinis on those crystals? Who the heck put those things there anyway?
Oh, just forget it. I think some things are better left a mystery.
The Zoombinis rode along the tracks for another long day, and when they finally came to an end, the group abandoned their boards and continued along the path. Saetwo had been right. The tracks had led them near an exit. Even as they walked along the upward slanting trail, they could feel the air begin to grow lighter around them. They had nearly made it.
We're going to make it through this after all.
Finally, they reached the summit of the slope, passed through a doorway, and found themselves in an enormous cavernous chamber. Everyone gasped. The exit from the mountain, their gateway to freedom, was on the other side. But standing between it and them was a gaping bottomless pit that descended into inky blackness, and suspended over that was the most intricate, complex puzzle the group would ever face. The Zoombinis were facing their final challenge.